Hi, I'm Lisa Leiter. In Chicago Business Today, big ticket taxes. The tax man cometh to Chicago's harbors and airports, and maybe even your driveway. Illinois state collectors are cracking down hard on owners of boats, airplanes, expensive cars, and other high-priced items bought without paying state sales tax. The Department of Revenue has new software that can comb records from marinas, tax agencies in other states, and flight plans filed with the Federal Aviation Administration to find out if the right tax has been paid on property used in Illinois. The stepped-up enforcement comes as the state tries to close a near $14 billion budget gap and just recently completed a tax amnesty program that ended early last month. And it's not just aimed at the super wealthy. Many Chicago boaters, for example, could be a target.
The department has taken a pretty hard line in those cases, and we've had to fight them and try to show that people were really not based here in Illinois. You can expect that if the department happens to do an audit of the harbor on the day your boat's there, that you might get an inquiry. Because it wouldn't be too far afield to suspect that somebody who's a resident of Chicago registered their boat over in Indiana, Michigan City, or on the east coast of the lake in Michigan somewhere, and then brought it over here for the summer.
Since 2008, more than $15 million in unpaid use taxes was assessed on cars, boats, and planes, and even other items bought elsewhere and brought into Illinois. The state is trying to hold on to revenue lost from buyers aiming to avoid the 6.25% sales tax, among the highest in the nation. Michael Clemens, the manager of policy and communications for the state tax collection agency in Springfield, tells Crain's, quote, "For every dollar we collect, we hope it prevents $10, $20, $30 more from going out of state." Audits of boat owners jumped by 51% in 2010, and the state has more than tripled the number of cases so far this year against cars and other items bought out of state. And the Illinois Supreme Court recently ruled that Irwin Industrial Tool owed more than $800,000 in taxes for a plane it purchased in Kansas and parked in Nebraska because it spent about half its time flying in and out of Illinois. While there are few cases in the taxpayer's favor, McKenzie says some may qualify for exemptions.
A lot of people will buy these assets and immediately turn around and lease them, and that's a cost-defraying measure. Somebody's going to be using it for business while you're not, and you're going to get a little bit of income, hopefully offset the cost of ownership, or maybe even make a profit. If that's what you're doing, and the person you're leasing to is a registered interstate carrier, there's not a tax, there's an exemption.
There are also exemptions for individuals who move to Illinois and pay taxes on their property in other states. Illinois taxpayers will see another change when it comes to the state's use tax. Beginning this year, they will now be required to list items like laptops or jewelry bought on the internet or elsewhere on their tax returns and pay the appropriate amount on them. McKenzie says up until now, a separate filing was required that most people weren't even aware of. Well, that's this edition of Chicago Business Today. For more on this story, be sure to check out this week's print edition of Crain's and chicagobusiness.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.